Am I the a-hole for raising my kids as a single dad instead of trying to find them a new mom or mommy figure? My ex left me and our kids 3.5 years ago. Our daughter was 3.5 at the time, and our son was 18 months old. She has nothing to do with me or the kids now, and that includes child support, though I'm trying to get that for their sake. Ever since my marriage ended, I have been focused on the kids, and that's where I plan to keep most of my focus for the next decade or more. My kids are still young and will need me to provide the best life I can for them. Dating is not something I'm interested in, much to the frustration of my family. My sister has tried to set me up with 2 of her friends, and my mom tried to set me up with a single mom co-worker of hers. I spoke to the women they wanted me to meet, but I just wasn't interested. It drove my mom and sister crazy, and they asked me what was wrong with those women. And to explain the kind of partner I want, my mom told me the kids need a mom in their lives, and raising them alone is not in their best interest. I have stepped back twice because of the pushiness, and right now they are in timeout because they would not let up on me. They said the kids would benefit from me blending families with someone or giving them a stepmom. When I told them it would not be better for them if I dated just to give them a mom, because that's not a good foundation for a new relationship, they said I should find someone I want. I made it clear my interest is in raising my kids and not my love life. I even had them ask what my daughter will do when she gets older and doesn't have a mom to speak to. I am incredibly lucky that my best friend in the world is amazing, and she's happy to talk to my daughter if she ever wants or needs. She's in my kids' lives, and they know her, and my kids are close with her husband too. So we have our own support village. It's better than what my family offers right now, and sadly, better than their maternal family has been willing to offer. And now I've had to block several family members because even in timeout they keep pushing. So now I'm here asking because my family is relentless. Am I the a-hole for raising the kids on my own? Am I failing my kids? Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. Studies show that they will be fine with a single dad. You are trying to keep your children out of toxic cycles, and that is great. All the step-parent stories you read on Reddit would indicate they may be happier not having to deal with a stepmother and/or step-siblings. A lot of step-families come with their own challenges, and not every kid thrives in that environment. If you're providing a stable, loving home, that's what matters most for their happiness and development. They said the kids would benefit from me blending families with someone or giving them a stepmom. Or as evidenced by the many posts here from people who have cut off their formerly single parents for forcing a blended family on them before they were ready, they will cut you off in a few years. I even had them ask what my daughter will do when she gets older and doesn't have a mom to speak to. She'll talk to you. What do they think she'll do? I have a wife, and my daughter still chooses to speak to me about her deeper issues. Being a good supportive parent is not dependent on your or your kid's gender identity. Not the a-hole. They think she won't want to talk to me about periods and other topics like that. I'm prepared for her to come to me or my best friend, or maybe she'll have a friend's mom or sister she'll talk to. But I always wanted to be an option, even before my ex left. I love my kids and want to do right by them both. I have a feeling your kids will be a lot happier and well-adjusted than many single parents' kids who cycle through bad relationships. Good on you for doing what every parent should, putting your kids first. It's obvious that you are a great dad and a great person, not the a-hole. I'd like to think so. I don't want to put us in a cycle of misery where everyone I bring home doesn't work out and the kids struggle and I struggle. And it's not fair to any woman to be brought home for the purpose of my kids and not the actual relationship. Those relationships always seem to turn out the most toxic, and I've seen them in others. Not what I want for any of us. Next story. Am I the a-hole for refusing to reconnect with my mom after finding out she only gave me up for adoption to chase a man? I was adopted at birth. My parents never kept it from me. I grew up knowing I was chosen, and I never felt like something was missing because my adoptive parents gave me a loving and stable home, so much to the point where I never seriously even considered searching for my birth parents. But last year, curiosity got the better of me, and I took one of those 23andMe DNA tests, mostly to learn about medical history and heritage. A few days after I took my test, I saw that my mother had messaged me, and while I was a bit surprised at first, I did decide to reply to her. She said she always wondered about me and that she hoped I had a good life. At first, I was a little cautious, for obvious reasons, but she did seem genuine. So we exchanged numbers and started messaging and eventually even called. Later on, the calls turned into FaceTimes. I thought that this could be something nice and healing, but then she told me why she gave me up, and the reason really hurt me. It wasn't because she was struggling or wanted a better future for me like you see in the movies. It was because she was in love with a man who didn't want any kids. When she got pregnant, she didn't tell him and says she hid it from him. How do you hide a pregnancy from someone for 9 months? Once I was born, she gave me up for adoption so that she wouldn't lose him. She said it was a hard decision, but the way she spoke about it was like she was reminiscing about a great romance and not about giving away her own child. And truth be told, this really hurt me. I tried to hide it, but couldn't. All this time, she didn't give me up because she was struggling or wanted a better life for me. She gave me up because I was inconvenient for her life. I told her I needed space and that I couldn't act like nothing was wrong. She said I was being unfair because she was just young and scared. I talked about this to my adoptive parents, and they're being supportive regardless of my decision, but they want to stay neutral as it's between me and my mother. Am I the a-hole for walking away from her after finding out this? Oh my God, totally not the a-hole. I'll give her credit for telling you the truth, but regardless of what her reasons were, you don't owe her anything. She's the one who chose not to keep you. You do what's best for you. Luckily, it sounds like you have great parents. Yeah, on one hand it's nice knowing, but Jesus, what kind of reason is that for leaving a child? As for my parents, yeah, they're amazing. I really couldn't be any happier and love them so much. Honestly, it's a good thing she didn't raise you. Imagine the kind of values or lack thereof you'd have grown up with. She does not get to decide what is unfair. You put yourself out on a limb to learn more, you learned more. Now climb back down from that limb and have a great life with your great parents. And the reason she did it is so crazy. Young and dumb or not, it doesn't matter. It's an entire life that she just threw away, like I didn't matter whatsoever. I will give your bio mom a hint of grace, because at least she didn't literally throw you in the trash, and managed to find incredible parents for you. You don't owe her any grace or any part of a relationship, and no one should expect that. But remember, you won with your parents and are still winning. Next story. Am I the a-hole for not inviting my mom to my baby shower because she told people I was faking my infertility? For years, I lived in the shadow of infertility. It was a battle that consumed not just my body, but my emotions, my marriage, and even my sense of self. I went through countless rounds of IVF, each one leaving me more drained than the last. Twice I thought I had finally made it, only to miscarry and have my hopes ripped away. The endless stream of appointments, needles, and negative tests became my normal. It felt like my life was reduced to waiting rooms and lab results. Every pregnancy announcement from someone else felt like a dagger. Friends and relatives would share their joy, and while I tried to smile and say congratulations, inside I was breaking. Holidays became unbearable. Well-meaning relatives would ask, with cheerful smiles, "So when are you two going to start a family?" I would excuse myself, lock myself in the bathroom, and cry silently until I could pull myself together again. It wasn't just disappointment, it was grief, repeated over and over. Through all of this, I needed support, but my mom wasn't there for me. Instead of compassion, she was dismissive. She brushed it all off, saying things like, "You're trying too hard," or "You just need to relax." It wasn't just that her advice was useless, it was the way it invalidated the pain I was in. And then came the moment that changed everything. One day, I overheard her talking on the phone with my aunt. She said I was faking my infertility struggles for attention. She claimed I was exaggerating and even suggested that maybe I didn't actually want kids, that I just liked playing the victim. I can't describe the way my heart sank hearing that. It wasn't just betrayal, it was humiliation. My own mother didn't believe me. When I confronted her, she didn't deny it. She just waved me off, told me I was being too sensitive, and never once apologized. She made me feel like I was the problem for even daring to be hurt by her words. From that moment on, a wall went up between us. Now, after years of pain, I am finally pregnant. This baby represents not just a new life but a victory after years of heartbreak. My friends and loved ones want to celebrate, and we're hosting a baby shower. But I made a choice. I didn't invite my mom. When she found out, she cried. She told me this was supposed to be our moment to reconnect. She said she was proud of me and wanted to be there. But I told her the truth, that I couldn't invite someone who doubted me when I was at my lowest, who told other people I was lying, and who never once said sorry. I told her that pretending everything was fine for the sake of appearances wasn't something I could do. Now, of course, the backlash has started. Some of my relatives are saying I'm being spiteful. They say it's cruel to exclude your own mother from something so big. But to me, it feels crueler to force myself to sit in a room with someone who cut me down when I needed her most, smiling through fake forgiveness just so others won't feel uncomfortable. At the end of the day, this baby shower is about celebrating life, joy, and resilience. I don't want that clouded by bitterness or false reconciliation. I want to feel safe and supported on that day. So, am I the a-hole for refusing to let her attend my baby shower? Now for the comments. Not the a-hole. You're not being spiteful. You're protecting your peace. Tell those relatives to kick rocks. Maybe don't invite them either. Congrats on your new chapter. Thank you. I don't appreciate their comments, but other than that, they are really supportive of my pregnancy so far, which means a lot to me. I would just say, my decision is final. I don't need more stress during my pregnancy, so please don't add to it. I'm not revisiting this conversation with you again. Not the a-hole, but at this point, it might make more sense to simply go no contact. Some things are unforgivable. Did she ever explain exactly why she thought you'd lie about something so painful? No LOL, which is weird because she took me to a few of the appointments herself. Lying about something to get attention. Sounds like someone was projecting. You did the right thing, and congratulations. You're going to have to take the time to figure out what role you want her to have in your child's life. Last story. Sister-in-law had a stillborn and now wants me to pretend my baby doesn't exist. As the title says, my sister-in-law suffered a full-term stillbirth a few months ago. It was devastating and gut-wrenching for our entire family. The grief was overwhelming because this was her firstborn. My husband and I had also just welcomed our first child, a baby girl, only a few months before. What made everything even more painful was that my sister-in-law and I had spent months planning for our daughters to grow up together. We had imagined sharing milestones, supporting each other as first-time moms, and building those memories side by side. When she lost her baby, it shattered not only her world but ours as well. The grief was compounded by the contrast that while I was adjusting to life with my baby, she was mourning hers. It has been incredibly difficult to watch her and her husband go through such heartbreaking loss. They have been so broken by it, and we've tried to do everything we can to support them. A month or so after everything happened, my sister-in-law asked me not to bring my baby around her because it was just too hard. She explained that seeing my daughter was a painful reminder of what she lost. Out of respect for her, we stopped bringing our baby along when visiting and arranged babysitters whenever we went over. We also avoided bringing up our daughter in conversation, even though it was hard, because she told us that any mention of her was too painful. I have tried my best to honor those boundaries, but recently, something happened that has made me question whether I'm handling this the right way. At a family gathering just the other day, I stepped into another room to pump milk for my baby. While I was pumping, I asked my sister-in-law if she would sit with me for a while. My reason for asking wasn't about the baby at all. It was simply because I felt like I hadn't gotten to spend much time with her during the gathering, and I wanted to check in on her and see how she was doing. I thought it was a small gesture to let her know I cared. Later, though, she reached out and told me she was very hurt by my request. She said that me asking her to sit with me while I was pumping felt unfair, like I was rubbing her loss in her face. She went further and said she doesn't want me to mention or talk about our baby around her ever again, and that she doesn't think she'll ever be able to be close to her niece. To her, my daughter is just too strong of a reminder of her own baby that she lost. I pushed back gently and told her that while I deeply respect her grief, it feels really difficult and honestly unrealistic for me to act as though my baby doesn't exist whenever I'm around her. I told her that I would really love for her to be part of my daughter's life eventually, and that I hoped things could get better with time. But now she's saying that I'm being unsupportive of her grief, and it feels like whatever I do is wrong. I don't want to cause her any more pain. I know her loss is unimaginable. At the same time, my baby is here. She is part of my life, and I can't erase her from existence just to protect my sister-in-law from being triggered. I don't want to lose my relationship with her, but I also don't think it's fair or possible to live in constant silence about my child. So now I'm stuck. Am I the a-hole for telling her that I can't pretend my daughter doesn't exist, even while trying my best to support her through her grief? Not the a-hole. So, I have been on the other side of this. My sister-in-law and I got pregnant within a couple of months of each other. I lost my baby, and my sister-in-law had a healthy baby boy. I was devastated. Being around her son was so hard. I would hide in the bathroom and cry every time we were around them. However, that was not her problem. Her baby deserved to be celebrated and doted on by the family. I would never have asked her to pretend her baby didn't exist for my sake. And actually, the more I was around him, the easier it got. I had another loss that same year and then got pregnant with my oldest son. My son and her son are super close now. They are only a year apart and have a special bond. It's been 18 years, and the loss of my baby still hurts. But that's no one's problem but mine. She needs to talk to a therapist. I'm so sorry for your loss. This is the answer. Sister-in-law's grief is understandable, but if they have to pretend a whole child doesn't exist to accommodate it, it will become calcified and immovable. What do the rest of the family think about this? Mixed. Some say we should do anything we can to help her and support her in her grief, even if that means not having my baby around for a bit and the rest of the family can arrange to see the baby separately when sister-in-law is not around. Others say she's being unreasonable. The issue is compounded by the fact that she has been saying things like she doesn't want to live anymore and wishes she died with the baby. When she says stuff like that, we all immediately acquiesce to whatever she needs in that moment, because we are scared she might act on these feelings.